2-2 to Chipper Jones. Check swing. Did he go? They appeal. No. Says Big Bruce Fleming.
Little check swing right there, Chipper. The determination of whether you're actually making an attempt to hit the ball or not. Big Bruce says no.
Payoff pitch to Chipper Jones. Strike 3 call.
Didn't attempt to hit that one either.
Go to MLB.com to bid on special autographed and game-used items currently up for auction to benefit the September 11th Disaster Relief Fund. MLB.com.
We talk a lot about location. This is filthy right there. Chipper, tremendous concentration. Santiago setting up inside. Hernandez hitting the glove. Chipper has a seat.
2 down for Andrew Jones. Ball 1 high, and Hernandez throwing as hard here in the 8th inning as he's thrown the entire night.
Upper 80s is about where he wants to be. Sometimes 90, 91. He really wants to hump up and throw one by you, upper half of the zone. But he feels like he gets better movement on that fastball when he tries to sink it down and in. He cuts it occasionally when he doesn't try to throw it as hard.
Jones 0 for 3 in the game, and he's behind 1-2.
I think game 2 was a classic example of a guy who's not supposed to throw hard, who threw a little bit too hard for himself, and that was Kurt Reeder. Threw harder than he should be, ball straightened out, and got hit.
43,070 rises 1. Line into left field, a base hit. Hanging breaking ball, but Andrew Jones picks up a double on. I would imagine Dusty Baker would love to have Hernandez finish this game, probably talking about that very issue with Dave Righetti. They have Tim Worrell loose in the bullpen. Well, you'd love to have everybody as fresh as possible should there be a game 5 tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the decision that you have to make, whether or not there's a guy down in your pen like Rob Nen, whether he needs a little bit of work or whether you can throw him out there, and because of it's a non-save situation, he throws more pitches than you want him to, and then you might need him again tomorrow night. That's where the managers and pitching coaches start to make their money with those critical decisions that may or may not backfire on you. We talked earlier about the criticism that Dusty took about Manny Ibar coming in yesterday's game.
And now Nen rips off the sweatshirt, and he's going to go down and start to throw.
Superman-like. You get the feeling that there was some music right behind Nen as he took that jacket off, something like dun dun dun. Here I come, I'm ready. Let me go get a couple tosses in down there.
He doesn't fool around down there.
No.
This should in the 8th inning. It does. A Herculean effort by Livan Hernandez. His team facing a season-ending loss. 8 innings, 3 runs, a 5-run lead.
Well, and you can see Big Barry there running back in. He's going to be leading off the bottom of the 8th. If there's no change in the scoreline, we will not have a bottom of the 9th. The Giants with a 5-run cushion, and obviously an opportunity at the bottom 8th to extend that lead as well. I'm sure Big Barry will be only too happy to do so. Only just noticed Livan Hernandez on the mound for the Giants. Of course, got number 61 on his back, which is a great year. A lot of very nice people born in that year.
Well, more importantly than whomever was born, that was, of course, the year in which Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris fought to get to that 61 home run mark.
That was a little sideshow going on, I accept.
Exactly.
As well.
Yeah, there was something in the papers about some sort of sick baby getting born in England or something like that.
Potential sporting superstar was brought into this world.
Oh, there goes Levan.
There he goes, Levan. Pitched a great game, JC.
As good as you could have expected. Boy, Dusty Baker, you have to tip your hat to him. When a manager pulls all the right strings, they rarely get the credit. Dusty deserves the credit. You know, there's a lot of question about whether he's going to come back and be the manager for the Giants again next year. His contract is up. I know that almost everybody in the Bay Area wants him to come back. He has been an incredible manager. Sort of ironic because he was a great player for the Los Angeles Dodgers, which of course are the mortal rivals of the San Francisco Giants, but went to manage in San Francisco and has done just an incredibly back-up job.
Some pretty happy fans there. Obviously a few beers been consumed, I imagine, and I imagine you can add a naught to Dusty Baker's contract if they come away with a World Series win this season. Now, guys, there's action, don't forget, in the next couple of nights in the world of NFL. We've had another score for the Baltimore Ravens, and it's the Chris Redmond, Brandon Stokely double act again. Another touchdown pass.
That's a nice catch right there.
That is a great catch, isn't it?
And he knows it. I don't like the showboating there.
Oh, I love the showboating. Why? They celebrate. It's a glorious, irrelevant sport.
Ray Lewis.
Enjoy the moment. Baltimore 19-0 leaders. And don't forget, of course, you can also catch NFL between Game 2 and 3 of the World Series when we take Monday night off on October the 21st. The boys, Mark and Mike, will be here for NFL Live. The Colts go to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. They'll be on air just shy of 1:30 in the morning. Join Mark and Mike for that one. They love to have your company. They're usually quite lonely individuals, so I'm sure they'll enjoy your company.
Let's not miss Barry here taking a shot at getting his third home run of the series.
Still only batting average .214 despite that 2 home runs and 3 RBIs, but I'm sure he doesn't give us a toss about his stats if they win.
It's the one time he's not a me player.
Absolutely.
Come postseason.
Let's rejoin the action.
Out Bonds, one away. Barry tonight 0 for 3. A sac fly RBI to start the scoring for the Giants in the opening inning.
Well, here's the way the brackets worked out. If you don't have a color on your bracket, that means you're gone. A's are gone. New York's gone. Diamondbacks gone. These guys, we're not sure what's happening here. St. Louis moves into that area. The Twins in there, taking on Anaheim. And sooner or later, one of these two guys are going to go there. We still don't know who's playing here. I'm taking Duke to win it all. It's kind of like the old Sweet 16 bracket.
No, you got to take those Maryland Terrapins, brother. Livan Hernandez in between innings, a pat on the cheek. There's no pat on the backs when you win Game 4 to keep your team alive. It's a pat on the cheek.
I think Hernandez right there was telling him, look, you don't have to take me out of this game. I can keep going. I'll get it done for you. Dusty probably said, hey, I got you covered. We're going to nail it down. Excellent job.
What an effort indeed. Biggest game the Giants have played all year long tonight. And Livan Hernandez allows just 3 runs in 8 innings. Trying to go to 6-0 in the postseason in his career. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Santiago will head back to the dugout. History not kind to the Giants coming into this one. We brought it up earlier. Had never won a game when facing elimination since 1971, 0-5. The last time they won a game, 1962 in the World Series.
We talked a little bit at the beginning of this show about how a 5-0 postseason record didn't mean a whole lot to me. Now it does. Show me that you can do it again. I start believing. And Hernandez showed that.
We head for the ninth. 8-3 Giants.
Well, would you believe it? Atlanta have retired the last 9 at-bats in the last 3 innings. Could have done with that a little bit early on. Some interesting points coming in as well, certainly from a few Atlanta fans. There's one of them.
I bet it's a Bonds child right there.
I was going to say, actually, that's a Giants kit, isn't it? Of course
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
quite possibly one of the Bonds brood.
Do they not have mini helmets? Because that's absolutely enormous.
Well,
on the
you don't
kit.
want a helmet that doesn't work because that's a noggin you want to protect. You need to protect a head like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at Levon.
He's coming
Look at
back.
Levon. So it looks like he's coming back.
Didn't we see
Good
Rob Nen
choice.
going in to warm up?
He is throwing just so well tonight. Saw that curveball right there. There's another curveball. He's really getting that ball down. You see the key is where it stops. That's a riding fastball up high. That's another little curveball. You see how out in front Franco is? That's just a fastball that completely freezes Sheffield. And you obviously see that other pitch. The thing about it is you see those curveballs, they're staying down, and that's the key. Keep the curveball down. It's okay to ride that fastball up high, but get it above the shoulders so that they really can't turn on it. And you get the job done. And boy, he has done everything right tonight. And, you know, I said it in the beginning, is that if he started well, odds were good for him. He did start well. He didn't have a moment where he struggled, and maybe one inning in between, but really impressive.
Giants in the regular season threw 10 complete games, which was the 7th best record in the major leagues. So it's not as if this is unusual for them to see their starter go all the way to the end.
No, especially Levon Hernandez. When he's pitching well, he can go the whole game. It is just amazing how well he's throwing tonight, though, because he has not had a good season. I mean, he really struggled 2 years ago. Excellent pitching, did a really good job. But 16 losses on a team that wins as many games as the Giants win shows that you're not doing something right.
And I think that was the trophy cabinet for Chelsea Football Club we just saw. Things ain't looking... Oh, I've had a shocker of a day. I tell you what, just talking about shocker of the day, this one made me laugh. Thanks for this. This did actually make me smile. Under the subject matter of this email, it just says 1-0. Johnny, you can drink as much as you like. It won't change the score. Michael Owen is the man. And that's from Phil Bound. You're absolutely right, Phil.
And let
put
me
a
just
smile
say,
on my face. Thank you for that.
Johnny, Johnny just threw your email in the bin.
Well, what else am I meant to do with it? Take it home and frame it? I've read it out. What more does Phil want? Stand there, crows. OK, well, Levon Hernandez is the man of the hour of the evening, and I'm sure our match commentators have got a few points to make about them. So let's join Psycho Steve Lyons and Tom Brenneman for their words of wisdom.
I think he talked his way back into this game. I like it.
Well, you got to love it. First pitch swinging, Vinny Castilla fouls it back out of play. In the year 2000, we mentioned that was the last Giant home win in the postseason. And it was a complete game for Levon Hernandez in that one. 0-1 delivery. Bouncing ball up the middle, fielded by Aurelian. He made one start in that 97 League Championship Series. It was a complete game when he won the LCS MVP. Made 2 starts in the World Series MVP in 97 and did not finish either game.
Now Hernandez will get a sufficient amount of rest for his next start if in fact he gets one. I really had a great day today. Doesn't get a whole lot of credit for his defense. Shown some nice range tonight.
The Giants have not been to a World Series since 1989. That was the earthquake-marred World Series here in the Bay Area. They lost to the Athletics in 4 straight games. They win in 62, losing 4 games to 3 there. The last World Series they won, you have to go all the way back to 1954. They had not even come west yet.
And I understand the lineage of the organization, but it's really hard to call them the same team that far back.
0-2. And it's off the outside edge.
Giants fans getting a little greedy now, aren't they? They want a little bit of everything.
Well, wouldn't you?
Sure.
They haven't won a postseason series since 1989. And they've had some good clubs since then. Popped up behind the bag in short center, and Lofton unable to catch up with it. Kent sort of gave up on it, figuring that Lofton would be there.
Kenny Lofton had a little bit of a bad jump on this one, too. He started back first before he came in, and then he can't get all the way in to get it.
Well, now Dusty Baker is going to come get Livan Hernandez, maybe. No sign given yet. And now he makes a sign. Listen to this ovation for Livan Hernandez.
Well, we get a pitching change. Finally, Livan Hernandez taken out from a Keith Lockhart hit, which, quite honest, was a bit lucky that it ended up being a hit. So again, a little bit unlucky. I'm sure he would have been rather chuffed to have got himself a complete game there. Didn't look too disappointed though when he's taken out.
No, I thought it was interesting to send him out here for the 9th. Probably want to get a quick inning. Figure Livan could do that. Just try and get 3 quick outs. But any sign of trouble, things can really unravel pretty quickly. So I guess they chose, let's not let things unravel. Let's just end this up right here.
Is he likely to risk bringing in his #1 closer here, or keep him fresh since it is still a 5-run ball game?
I wouldn't expect him to throw in Rob Nen. I don't think he really has had any action in this series here thus far. He has thrown twice, so most likely not. I would say no.
Yeah.
Thrown 1 in the 3rd inning so far.
Yeah, if they get the couple of runs, though, I mean, there's just the 1 out at the moment, isn't there? So there is still potential for a comeback, but it's a huge ask.
As they say in baseball, it ain't over till it's over. So
yeah.
That's the great thing about baseball. You're never constrained by time.
You're not going to mention the fat lady at this point?
No, there is
tonsils. Is she warming up, or is she taking a few bars? What's the story?
Well, obviously, you talk about it ain't over till the fat lady sings, but. Yeah, I like it ain't over till it's over better. Yogi Berra.
Okay. Lee Rayner is a huge Braves fan. He makes a good point, this. And I remember exactly when he's talking about. Watching this game reminds me of a few years ago when the Braves played like they didn't need to bother turning up as the series was in the bag, and of course they lost because the other team was hungrier. To me, it sure looks as if the same thing could well happen again. I know exactly when he's talking about. In fact, I can't remember whether it's last year or the year before, but I remember making the point at the time. They just didn't seem to care. The hunger wasn't there, almost a sort of slightly patronising arrogance, and they got their butts justifiably whipped. Tonight, they haven't looked like the same team as they have done the last couple of games.
It's really interesting because we were complimenting the Yankees for having a really cool demeanor when they were playing against the Angels, and you wanted to start asking yourself whether the situation is better to be a little hot-headed when you're in a 5-game series that you have such a short amount of time, and you should try and get the adrenaline pumping. Maybe that's the problem with the Braves here too. That they and the Yankees, both those teams should have been a little bit more upbeat rather than subdued, as teams that have been there a lot tend to be.
JC, I know what that shot was of the Chelsea trophy room. It's obviously the Giants or the Atlanta or the Giants coach ready to make its way over to Atlanta.
Exactly. They both have to hop on planes. They're going to be a little bleary-eyed. It's really a sense of who's going to want it more when you have to take a long trip, get a little sleep, and come back and play ball.
Right. Did you catch who was on the mound?
Yeah, I think it's Scott Air, who has thrown in 2 games so far, thrown 1 inning of work, and has not given up a run yet.
Okay, and there's Derek Jeter lookalike.
No, give her colored eyes.
0-2's the count. Let's rejoin the action.
Field a base hit.
I drove from Oregon to spring training in Florida 2 years in a row. I got enough of that.
The coordinating producer of Major League Baseball on Fox is Michael Weissman. The producer of tonight's game, Jeff Gallen, and our director, Jim Lynch. Our associate director, Larry Lancaster. Our broadcast associate, Kevin Dresser. Thanks to our technical producer, Craig Marlowe. Pre-game show produced by Gary Lang, directed by Bob Levy. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. And the executive producers at Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. And thanks as always up here in the booth to our statistician, Mark Daddy Wags Wagner. Game 5 tomorrow, 2 outs away from making it official. Russ Ortiz, who is here, Kevin Millwood, already back at his home in Atlanta.
Sleeping.
Now, you don't think he's really sleeping?
Well, it's 11 o'clock and the game's still going on, so he's probably still checking this thing out. He'll be sleeping shortly thereafter. There's Ortiz and Schmidt hanging out together. David Bell with another good day. Huge day for Aurelia.
For Cole with 2 on, 1 out. The big story here tonight, along with all that offense, is there's a bunt at the first base line. Air gets there, throws in time. It has taken 2 outstanding plays by a Giant pitcher, one by Hernandez and that one by Air, to prevent Cole from 2 bunt hits.
This is a risky throw by Air, but a brilliant play if you make it. Look at that. Whoa. Reverse pivot, grab it with your meat hand and fire him out.
Dusty Baker is going to make a pitching change with a 5-run lead. Livan Hernandez.
Well, I'm in a no-win situation here because I'm known to be a Braves fan. But JC, you know, you talk about home field calls. I wish we could see a repeat because that looked, again, very close indeed.
Yeah, we didn't have the angle. It's really hard to say. Clearly a bang-bang play.
Yeah.
Hard to say what's going to happen here. Great play by the pitcher, though. He has to turn, wheel, and deal. Furcal made a much better bunt this time than he did last time.
Yeah, that's for
and
sure.
He deserved
and knowing
it.
how fast he is, I must admit, I thought that was safe, I must admit. But you're absolutely right. We can't see it, which is why I'm desperate to see a close-up and a replay so we can see.
I suspect they'll show it again. I suspect they'll show it again at some point.
But that could make such a difference. You suddenly go from bases loaded 1 out to 2 on 2 out. Now, obviously, when you need, what are they, trailing by 5, even a grand slam, they're still 1 run behind, and they've only got that 1 out left to play with.
It was an interesting decision by Rafael Furcal. Obviously, he probably did that on his own. There was no suggestion on the part of the coaches for him to do that. I think he's a good enough hitter. He should have confidence in himself that he could drive a ball into the gap or into a corner, get a triple, knock in 2 runs, be on third base.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have necessarily bunted there. He'd already done it once in the game. He probably felt confident. Maybe he had a scouting report on the pitcher, Scott Air, that he'd heard he couldn't field very well. If that was the case, obviously the scouting report was wrong.
Well, I do have to say the other bunt, though it wasn't as good and the ball did get up, Livan Hernandez again did a great job, though, of fielding it. Because Furcal is quick. I mean, he's not the quickest, but he's certainly quicker.
Oh, he's one of the quickest.
One of the quickest, absolutely. But if you remember the play that Hernandez came up with, I mean, he fielded the ball very cleanly, threw it well, positioned himself well, drilled it in, and I think actually in the end beat him quite comfortably.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation right now because Rob Nen, the great closer for the Giants, is going to come in here basically to get the last out, and you ask yourself, well, why get him all heated up and go out there and throw? I wish I had the answer for that, to be honest. I personally would have chosen to just rest him, just don't have him throw here, save him for tomorrow, but maybe they sort of have a feeling that anything can still happen here and not take any chances.
Well, I suppose on the basis that I'm sort of with you, because even if they brought in another somebody else from the bullpen, even if it was a home run, 3-run shot, it's still an 8-6 ball game. Then you can bring in Rob Nen with just the 1 out required, still got a 2-run lead.
I guess the only argument you can make for bringing him in is they had started warming him up already, and once you start, we used the analogy of a thoroughbred before, once you start getting the horse warm, you might as well get him fully heated.
Yeah, might as well give him a run.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, they don't look that excited in the Giants' dugout, considering they're 1 out away from taking this to the complete 5-game series. Rob Nen, new man on the mound, just needs the 1 out. We're back to, I think it's Julio Franco.
It is.
It is. Let's rejoin the boys.
Rolled foul.
Rob Nen with the mid-90s fastball that he likes to get ahead with. Got that nasty split finger if he gets you behind in the count. And if you are behind in the count, bye-bye. You're not hitting that splitter if he throws a good one.
Well, Livan Hernandez perhaps giving a scouting report to Russ Ortiz about how a right-hander who throws in the low 90s goes about getting out these hitters. Ortiz went 7 strong frames, getting the win in Game 1. And he'll get the ball tomorrow night.
Well, what a great job he did of keeping the Braves hitters off balance, using the fastball and breaking ball.
Julio Franco with the Braves down to their final out. Behind Nen, 0-1. And there's a ground ball. Aurelia behind the bag. Game over. We head to Game 5 tomorrow night in Atlanta. Livan Hernandez, 8 1/3 innings of 3-run baseball to go to 6-0 in his career in the postseason. Big league effort tonight by Livan Hernandez.
You can't say enough about a guy who is with his back up against the wall and then comes up with a superior effort. A tremendous game out of Hernandez, and this team needed it.
We wish our colleagues Joe Buck, Tim McCarver and company good luck tomorrow night. Steve, you and I are on our way to Minnesota, where the American League Championship Series will begin right here on Fox Tuesday night. For more information on tonight's game and for the latest information on Major League Baseball, go to foxsports.com. For Steve Lyons, I'm Tom Brenneman saying so long from San Francisco, where the Giants send it to a decisive Game 5 tomorrow night at Turner Field in Atlanta, trying to get their first postseason series win since 1989. Game 5 tomorrow night on Fox.
Congratulations to the San Francisco Giants, completely deserving winners tonight. Mari Ford's going to be happy. He's a Giants fan and hoping that they can make it to the World Series. I'm just looking at the scorecard here, JC. The first thing that stands out, smacks me between the eyes, is the fact that despite what seems to be a very impressive offensive performance from the Giants and an offensively pretty impotent performance from the Braves, the Giants had 11 hits, the Braves had 9, and yet they're separated by 5 runs.
Well, I mean, there's 2 words that express why one team beat another team tonight. Tom Glavine. Tom Glavine was thoroughly and completely ineffective. On the 3 days rest, he did not look himself. He was either leaving balls up or too much down the middle of the plate. And those are 2 big problems. And he is not an overpowering enough pitcher to make a mistake on either. He needs to be down and on the corners. His cut fastball, which will normally break in or out, was not moving. There was really nothing good about his game today. And I agree with you, the umpire didn't help his game at all, didn't allow him. That's the thing about Tom Glavine, he never gives in. We mentioned this before.
Yeah.
So he kept on trying to work that corner that he just wasn't getting. Yeah. He didn't make the adjustment.
Yeah, that's the key. Easy to play, do the old hindsight number. But just talking about manager Bobby Cox from the Braves' perspective, do you think it's a mistake when you consider that by going with Glavine on only 3 days rest, a day short of his norm, that if they were to lose, which they've now done, they're now having to pitch Game 5 also with a pitcher who's basically not had enough rest. Would it have not made more sense to throw in someone like Damian Moss as a starter, who, let's face it, had a pretty good season all round? I know he was a bit weak towards the end, but he finished with a really good start. At least he's fully rested. And so if you were in the situation where you get a Game 5, you've got Glavine fully rested on the mound.
I'd probably agree with that strategy. Plus, you have you still have a guy like Kevin Millwood on 3 days rest who can back you up 3 days rather than the 2 for Maddox, which is too much. I agree with you, but hindsight is 20/20, and there's a lot of reasons to think that Bobby Cox before this game. Let's go with our stars, our guys who've been there before. He had 26 decisions in the postseason before this. Why not go with a guy who has so much experience in this situation, end it right here, and then let's move on? So I understand why Bobby Cox did it. He, much like Dusty Baker, is loyal to his older veteran players. But, hopefully this isn't the last we see of Tom Glavine in a Braves uniform in postseason play.
That would be sad, wouldn't it? That would be really sad. If that is the last time we see him ever making an outing for the Braves, and your memories are of a guy who didn't even get out of the 3rd and gave up, 7 runs in the process, that'd be really sad.
Walked 5 or 6.
Yeah, walked 5, that's right. And I am surprised with Rich Aurelia coming up with, 2 men on. He had the 2 outs. And once Kenny Lofton got that single in the 3rd, I am amazed that Bobby Cox left him in.
It did seem surprising because he had Grabowski in the bullpen ready to come in. Yeah. He looked so ineffective, you would think he would go for it. But again, we can second guess from thousands of miles away. It's pretty easy for us. Yeah, everybody did that with Mike Scioscia. Ultimately, Mike Scioscia pulled the right strings. These guys are great managers for a reason.
Okay, well... Old Les from Manchester is also having a bad time of it. He loves the show, but he's just been dumped by his girlfriend because he spends too much time watching our wonderful coverage and she can't understand it. Old Les, she's not worth worrying about, mate.
If she doesn't like baseball, well...
Dumped you, you dumped her, old Les. I've been diagnosed with knee ligament damage. Stoner Crows, you're making me sad. I thought my night was bad enough. I'll miss most of the Championship Series as I'm out of the country, so could I please get a happy birthday from the two of you for Saturday when I'll be 22, lonely and missing both your smiling faces. Old Les, a very happy birthday on Saturday.
Les.
Yeah, bad news all round on that one. But fingers crossed that operation goes well for you. Hope you enjoyed tonight's matchup, guys. Let's look ahead to Wednesday night baseball. It's going to be a cracker. It's either Game 1 of the National League Championship Series or Game 2 of the American League Championship Series, which, of course, is between Anaheim and Minnesota. We still don't know who's going to be taking on the Cards in the NLCS, but we're live here on 5 at 1:10 in the morning. JC and JG here in the hot seat to do the business, and hopefully you'll be with us as well.
I love that American League Championship Series matchup.
It's a great matchup,
two teams that play with so much energy, so much excitement, do the little things, and you never know who's going to beat you on any given day. That's what I really like about that. They both have their stars, but their supporting cast tends to surprise you.
We've had loads of emails of people watching through the night, watching live. We do appreciate them, guys. I want to finish with just a couple of mentions.
Okay, let's do it.
I've highlighted them for them. I'll kick them off. Steve Martin. Sorry, not the Steve Martin. Getting all excited there, Steve. Say hi to my dad if you can, Bill Martin, who'll have recorded the game, and call him a lightweight. Certainly, Steve. You're a lightweight.
Lightweight. We got Bernie in Northern Ireland, and he's been into the game for about 20 years. Very nice. He wanted to send some love over to Tony. Wish him love.
Okay, could you also please mention my friend because he's lying down? Oh, no, I've done that one. Sorry. His old big belly guy. Gets a second mention.
Well, then I'll go at it. Barry Jenkins and Barry Sizer. Barry is a Cards fan, and then we have, well, they're both Barrys. So Barry Sizer is a Cards fan. Barry Jenkins is a poor White Sox fan. We got Barrys all around. Bazes.
You handled that so well. JC, guys, we didn't even mention this at the top of the show. Felt like poo before this programme started, and I tell you what, you've been an absolute trooper. Seen it out, big guy.
You are too kind.
As always, great pleasure to have your company, and an even bigger pleasure to have your company as well. We leave you with the plays of September. After that, if you still need some more baseball, bit of a treat for you on MLB Replay. Last night's matchup, Game 4 of the ALDS between the Twins and the Athletics. From us, JC, JG. Thanks, guys. Look forward to seeing you on Wednesday night. Bye for now.
Up cheap against the cold. When Saturday's tales have all been told, get down the lane and save your soul. Get a 1950s gramophone and love songs by Nat King Cole. Going for a vibe, but going for a pound. Listen up and you hear the sound down at the brick lane. A Sunday morning, there's a Bengali man and drinking coffee in the morning. There's African Jews and old lady from Greece. They make a lot of noise, but they're keeping the peace. It's broad, it's broad, it's broader than Broadway. The world and it's wide, and I love around it. It's wider than the West Way. Step right up, come on, have no fear down. Brick Lane, Sunday morning. Brick Lane, Sunday morning. Let's go. I ain't gonna buy, we'll get a cup of coffee. I think I might watch the new day creeping out of the night. I spent my whole life falling in the mud, and every damn day I gotta struggle. But this life ain't nothing but a bargain. You gotta live fast and die up and down. Big Lane, Sunday morning. Big Lane, Sunday morning. I'm trying to get back home to you. I'm lying in the road like a broken shoe. There's one thing I gotta do. Get a cream cheese bagel, well, wouldn't you?